welcome to Fat Squirrel Speaks. Today is Monday. It might be May. It might be 20-something. Oh, 21st. This is episode 13. Hello. I am your fabulous hostess, Emmy Bell, also known as Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and Plurk. I would love to hear from you. If you would like to contact me, please do so. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Having like a random energy surge. I have been nearly comatose for 2 days. Suddenly, I am feeling very zingy. And very live ball of wire. Electrical wire. Oh, be careful of downed power lines because they're all in my head right now. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. I promise I have not had any recreational medications or stimulants of any sort. I don't know. I'm just feeling gaga. Okay, I'm gonna buckle down. I'm gonna tight it up. Okay, I'm really, see? Okay, a minute in, I'm already lost my train of thought like 75 times. But back on the rails. So, yes, I'm Beth, the Fat Squirrel. Contact me if you would like to. I enjoy when you do. I was gonna say, just speaking of that, let me just say, I just had like a random, like I always enjoy getting emails and private messages on Ravelry and whatnot. I always enjoy it. It's super enjoyable at all times. But this week has been especially correspondence-tastic. Like I've received several lengthy emails or messages, whatever, you know what I mean. And like of a correspondence type of nature, which I'm always just in love with. I'm always very intimidated by them, so I apologize for any of those people. It always takes me a few days to get back to you because I really am intimidated by like an actual, like well thought out and organized multi-paragraphic world. It scares me. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not like, I can read. I can read a book. I can read your letter and understand it. However, to respond to it sometimes is intimidating to me. I don't know why. Again, no reason. I just can't help it. That's one of my weirdnesses. So, but I've just had especially several very thoughtful ones this week, and I just want to say thank you to those people, and you know who you are. It's been very lovely, and I've appreciated it very deeply. I've also appreciated all of your participation in the forums and all of your iTunes reviews, which is pleasant. I've enjoyed it. This week I also enjoyed meeting one of you. Shut up. It's true. The fabulous Joni Nitz, who has her own podcast called Joni Nitz. She is the fellow Hoosier. I'm not really technically a Hoosier because I'm not from this godforsaken state. But I'm not technically from this state. I'm a transplant. I've been here about 7 years now. So, but she's a fellow Hoosier. We totally hung out at the coffee place. And we both commented. By the way, whatever. I'll just mention this because it was funny. Because we're both there. We're both moms. And, we're not living the high life, yo. And I mean, we are living the high life. But it might be the Miller high life and not like the Guinness high life. It might be the Pabst high life for all that matters. But whatever. Aside. But so we're like at the Starbucks and we're all excited because I kind of was like afraid to buy. I was like, oh, I haven't had one of these coffees in a very long time. It was very exciting. I got the very tall, very expensive coffee and I was very excited about it. I did at one point think that, oh, this was like a whole can of yarn I just drank, but whatever. Settled down the crazy face. So we had lots of fun. I met her at like 2 o'clock and I was like, okay, I don't have a watch on. I didn't have my phone with me. I know you people are like, oh my God, you don't have your phone with you? I don't have a phone that talks to space. I have like a phone, like a regular phone. Like a cruddy, free, I'm not even a free with plan, like a free with minute to minute phone. Because, well, again, that's who I am. So anyway, so I don't have one of those talking to space phones. But where is it? I don't know, whatever. I only take it because I'm like afraid that like a tire will explode or something and I might need to call somebody. So I didn't have it. And I was all telling my husbandy person, like, okay, so I'm telling you to go meet this person. I'm thinking maybe I'll be there like 2 hours at the most. So I was there, and there was no clock, of course, because Starbucks wants you to buy everything in there and stay there for hours, because, hello, that's a trick. So we were there, and we were like, chatty, chatty, chat, chat, chatty, chatty, chat, chat. It was very pleasant and very funny. By the way, she totally has her own podcast. If you're a toy knitter, especially, or crocheter, you should check it out, because she's got some production, She can knit some stuff. I mean, she does lots of toys. And her specialty is toys, and what does she say? I can't remember what she said. Toys and acrylic, basically. She's like, dude, I know with a lot of acrylic. I have 3 kids. I'm like, I feel you there. Okay. So anyway, so we're like chatty, chatty, chat, chat, chatty, chatty, chat, chat, and finally we're like, okay, wind up. She made a whole toy while we were there, by the way. That might have been my first clue that we were there for more than 2 hours. Get in my little car, and I turn on my little car, and my little car tells me that it is 5:50. Shoot. I have been missing for 4 hours. With no, whatever. It was fun. I had a nice time. I really thought in my head it had been 2 hours, maybe 2:20. Nearly 4 hours, people. So anyway, that was a hit, Nane. That was so fun to meet the other knittery type people of the world, and the podcastery type people too. Shut up. So that was super awesome. Then also, Thursday was my husband's birthday, and we totally went to Mammoth Cave. Oh my God. I'm going to geek out I'm going to cave out. Not cave in. I'm going to cave out, yo. It was so awesome. I had a super fabulous time. Now, I've been there. I was there when I was actually pregnant and didn't know I was pregnant yet. Like 7 years ago. No, that's not right, because that's not the right math. 6 years ago. Woo! So I was there, and we did a tour, and it was very fun. I enjoyed it a lot, but we've not been back for a very long time. And this time I think I may even enjoyed it more, if that's possible. It was so fun. By the way, we had the cutest tour guide. Well, she's not a tour guide. She's like a park ranger. As tour guide, a diminutive referential reference. Whatever. She was a tour guide, rangery type person, and let me just discuss. She was super cute. Not only was she super cute because she was rocking her Kentucky accent hardcore, and like my paternal people are from Kentucky, and I love Kentucky accents lots. And every time I go visit for like a week after I get home, I have to talk like them because I love it. And it's so cute. Oh! I mean, Kentucky's got problems just like everybody else, and there's some wackaloony people who live there just like everywhere else, but overall they all sound real cute. So so I have to make this comment. I don't know why I have to make this comment, but I do, because I was just struck by it. She was a petite woman. Like, she might have only been 5'2" or something. Like, she was a wee one. And she was like normal human size. I don't even know what size that is anymore, but she was just normal. But she had the cutest figure ever. Now, to say somebody has a cute figure while they're wearing a uniform, she had a cute figure. She was like super curvy, and her little tush with her little rangery khakis and her cinched up belt and her like double ring thing for her flashlight and her like she was so cute. I was in love with her. So, and she was very informative, and get this what? She also, that didn't make sense, did it? Get this what? So amongst other things, she was like telling us about how the farmers on the land, and like then it was like bought by the Park Service and whatever. And she's talking about like all the farms, the number of farms. There was like 53 farms, and there were 3 churches, and there were a number of family graveyards. And her family actually has their old graveyard on the park's land. And later she revealed, she was talking about how there's pathways through all the, pathways, walkways, whatever, through all the caves to make it easier to walk through. Hello. And they're all just like packed dirt. But she was talking about how those were formed, and they were actually formed by, I don't know if you know about the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps? Anyway, I'm totally mad crushed out on that anyway. Like, I love anything about the CCC. Love it. They helped make the Appalachian Trail. Love that. Love them. Love it. Anyway, so she was talking about that, and her grandfather was actually one of the CCC people who helped to make the trails to the caves. So she's like mad Mammoth Cave legacy, and she was very cute. And she says ideal instead of idea, because that's what Kentucky people do. What is that about? I don't understand that at all. But it's true. They all, I shouldn't say they all do that, but the vast majority of Kentuckians say ideal instead of idea. What is that? I love it. So it was like mad awesome. And she was telling us all about the different historical things, which, you know, I'm sure you're like, shut up, this is about knitting, not caving. It's free. Fast forward if you want to. But anyway, so she was still telling us about the different historical things that happened in the caves and all this stuff. Okay, I should share this because it was so awesome to me. So the caves before the CCC people came in, and they were all men, so I guess the CCC men came in and made all the trails. Like, you can see on either side, like this, okay. For people who don't know about Mammoth Cave is a dry cave. It's no, I mean, there's like 5 levels of cave, but there's not like water running through it. And the cave, it's huge. They're huge. I mean, not only is the cave system huge, but the actual caves that you walk through, a lot of them are ginormous. Like, they're as big as my living room, wide almost. So they're not like this. Some places are like that, but overall, it's like very big open places. So you can see, like, the paths. Like, I was all thinking, because the other tour we went on, like, the stairway down into it was very much like this. And there were, like, things that came over like this, and then you had to, like, and then I had to, like, squish parts of me through them. So, like, I was thinking that, but this, we went through a different entrance this time, and it was like, you could walk like 2 people abreast, no problem. And the stairs were all just like very level cement with like skitty stuff on it, so you didn't fall and die and break yourself. The other ones were metal, and they were way sketchier. But anywho, so then you're walking through the cave, and this is like the most easy tour ever, because it was like super flat. I kept being like, we should have taken the harder trail, you know, because my kid was all, because, you know, I need to, like, I tried to have her jumping jacks and everything before we went in there, because I knew that she was going to be crazy sauce. But it didn't work. So anyway, what was I talking about? Okay. I was talking about how broad the things are. So on either side of the very well-tended path, you can see, like, what you would think of as a cave floor. Like, it's all rocky and, like, mad uneven, like slabs that have fallen off. Like, it's crazy. Well, she's talking about, I was like captivated by this thought. It's like there's all these names written in the cave, and they look brand new. And she's like, no, those are from 18, like, they all have dates on them. Well, not all, both of them. They're like from like 1870-ish. Just talking about how there was a woman who was like a big famous Jenny Lind who was going to come through the cave, and I was all like, what? It's like, women in the Civil War. You remember, like, you know those dresses, right? Like big old hoop skirts. Sorry, my neighbor's dogs are barking at something. Big old hoop skirts and crinolines and whatnot. Totally went through those caves. And the tours back then, like ours was a 3-hour tour, their tours were either 8 hours or 17 hours. In a hoop skirt, yo. I was like, what? She's like, no, really. She's like, yeah, the historic parts of the tour, we actually have excavated like the little heels off the women's shoes. I was like, oh yeah, they make like indents. She's like, no, really, they just broke off in the dirt. So they could like dig up the little heels. So anyway, I was all like giving mad props to my like Civil War heritage women folk for trudging. And they had a lantern. At one point during the tour, they actually showed, like, they light a lantern and they show you how much light it casts. You can see, like, if you had a hoop skirt, I don't even think you could see beyond the hoop of your skirt, yo. And you weren't allowed to carry that thing because you had, like, all sorts of flammable stuff on you. So, like, the guide, who could have been, like, 4 people in front of you, was carrying the lantern that cast a 1.5 foot beam of light around you. You're walking all over this stuff. What? Whatever. It was crazy. So I was so excited. And as we were like leaving, as we drove past the campground, I was like, honey, I was like, maybe we could come back and camp. And we could camp for like 3 days. And we could do all the tours. Whatever. I was excited. It was fun. The whole area around there is really weird. There's this place called Cave City. And it's like, It's like 1960s tourism bubble, but not a bubble of like time has still passed there because everything is grimy and sketchy and weird. And like you're kind of looking for those like sex offender lists so you can just double check. Because it's all kind of don't go in anybody's van with a puppy, you know, stranger danger. But anyway, it's very weird. But the park itself is super awesome, and I highly recommend it if you ever have the opportunity to do so. So yeah. Okay, now we have random neighbors screaming. So that's exciting. I live in a sketchy neighborhood. So anyway, okay, so back to thank yous for a moment. Just wanted to mention the lovely Kimber Lolly, who is, I had to look at her real name because I can just only remember the other one. Kimberly Gintar. She gifted me her lovely new pattern. Isn't that pretty? It requires 2 skeins or about 750 yards of sport weight. So, what up, people? With your talent and whatnot. She also has her own podcast. And I want to say it's like The Giving Tree. Is The Giving Tree? That's a book. Is that a podcast too? Oh, crud. Oh, I'm a bad human. Oh, I bet it's The Giving Flower because it says that right here. Anyway, she's a Berliner, or she's an American who's currently living in Berlin, so that's going to be interesting. I haven't checked it out yet, but I should. So, excited about that. Thank you. And also, she's just so cute. Look at her. Isn't she cute? Look at her. Everybody is so cute. I'm telling you, that tour guide was so cute. Ideal. I got no idea how this happened. What? I love you. Anyway. Update on Southern American wool. Southern American. That's not even a thing. South American. Update on South American wool. There's no update. I have found no further information. Surprisingly, there seems to be no further information. I'm sure there is. I'm sure I will one day get to it. But there's no... I guess that's actually a good thing, right? Because there's no, like, screaming thing out there that says, like, you know, they make the lambs cry or whatever in South America, or that the people there are angry about the wool processing and how it steals their livelihood or whatever. So I haven't heard any angry things. So I'm thinking maybe it's totally kosher. But so I'm still looking into that. Just want to give you a FYI, heads up. I did find some interesting information that, in fact, China, I may be lying now. I don't think I am. China is actually the #1 wool producer in the world. What? Now, I don't know if that means wool for yarn, or if that means wool for felt, or wool for industrial applications. I don't know, because it didn't give me that breakdown on the chart. But, fascinating. So, I think one of the reasons it's kind of weird is because they don't label their wool like I'm used to seeing it labeled. Like, they don't label it as Corriedale. Their main sheep that they raise for wool are Merino and Corriedale. Hi, those are big names. But they don't really call them that very often. Like, oftentimes they're actually labeled as Punta because they go through the port of Punta, which is like Le Punta or something like that. And so they just label them by the port. I don't know if that has something to do with like their processing that they have there. Like maybe they don't have as many different processors, or maybe they have lots of different processors who then sell it to wholesale and then get it out. Whatever, something's happening. And either they don't keep the breeds segregated during processing, or they just don't label them as such after they ship them out often. So, oh, that's weird. I should work on that. Maybe they need to hire me as a consultant. Hi, South American wool producers. I would be happy to consult you. I have no qualifications for that job. Oh, never mind, I even said that. Anywho, to the knitting. I have a finished object. It is, in fact, the lovely Zuni shawl. Shut up, I know, right? And the Zuni shawl is by Danielle Chalson. I've probably said that 6 different ways because I've had it on the show. Whatever. So, love it. I tried it on after I blocked it, and I have not worn it because it's been 90-something degrees here. What is up with that crud? But I did try it on, and when I gazed at myself in the bathroom mirror, I felt very artsy. I don't know why, but I felt very artsy. I was like, oh, this is very artsy looking. Very fancy. So I made that with my hand spun from the loop bullseye bump. So fun. And it's fun because you can knit to get halfway through, and then you can just make your adjustments. I added a few rows in the middle. I could have added some more rows, but I wasn't sure. And this is why. When I started spinning the bat, I was spinning finer than when I was when I finished because I'm horribly inconsistent and a bad spinner. Whatever, I'm still new, shush. So I kind of knew that when I got actually halfway through the weight, I would still have more than half of the yardage left, but I didn't know how much more than half. So I ended up having to not rip anything of this out, but I had to I wanted to get to this very darkest color, so I had to take some of this color out to get to that darkest color, but that's okay. I was a little sad about it, but I'm over it now. I'm happy with my project. Okay, spinning finished objects is my only knitting finished object. Okay. My husband is apologizing for all of the random noise that's happening. No problem, yo. It's free. Hush. So this is the hand spun by Stefania Coopworth. And 8 ounces. I love it. Now, I say I love it, and I do love it. But quite frankly, I should have spent more time working on it. I could have made it a lot thinner and gotten more yardage. But I was just so excited that much like a child, I rushed through. Darn it. So, I still love it, but I wish I had been more patient. Originally, I was like, oh, I'm not doing it so fine because, what am I going to do with 8 ounces of really fine yarn? Like, what if I have like 1,500? I could have figured out what to do with 1,500 yards. Instead, I said that in my head because I was all like, I should have slowed down. I actually reached a point this week. Where I was like, dude, I have to slow down on the spinning, not just for like the case of quality and like niceness, but because I am going through too much product. Like, I'm going to be out of wool in like a hot second, and then what am I going to do? I have to shear my little dog. She's too small. That is not good quality wool. It's not wool at all because it's from a dog, but you know what I mean. It's not good quality hair. Anyway, but I'm still pleased with it. I still really like it. And it is true that as a really fine thing, like, I could not make a sweater out of or anything because it's a little too scratchy for that. But whatever. I still enjoy it. Okay. I got like 560 yards out of 8 ounces, which I know all the spinners are like, just rot. But again, I was so excited to go spinning. It's all about the farrier, and it just intoxicated me in a way I can't explain. So, enjoyed it. I have no idea what it will be. It will be something, but I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll just carry it around like a little nursing babe. You know. Thing number 2. Froggy Monkey, the Gnome Acres. Spin along for knitting in circles and knittables. Okay, so originally I was totally not going to get involved in these shenanigans because I'm involved in too many shenanigans. But then I was all like, oh, that's actually a really great idea. Because it would be very interesting to see people's results. Because there's lots of different bases of the fiber, but there's only 2 colorways. So then I got all suckered in because I was just thinking that's a really cool idea actually. Because you'll be able to see like great variations in what people can come up with. And actually it has been. I've looked at the threads and they're very interesting. It's just wild. You would never think they were all the same thing to begin with, or close to it, because they are different fiber blends, but you know what I mean. So, I totally suckered in. But mine was Falkland, and it's very squishy and nice. I think this would be excellent, because it's like kind of a weird... It's interesting how the difference between fiber when it's colored versus fiber when it's spun. I still don't quite understand what happens to it, but it's fascinating. how it changes. This had, you can see it definitely had some, I don't know if you can see or not, yo. It had orange and like an aqua and like a teal. That's loose, but you know, you can go look it up. But so, yeah, I don't know, I think this color would be really great for baby knits. I don't know what on earth I will do. This is totally not my colors at all, but I still like it, and I'll make something with it somehow for maybe my kid or something. And it is very squishy. It's a nice fall one. Again, one of those other weird ones that's named for the place and not for the actual sheep that the fleece comes from. That's very confusing. But pleasant. Right. This is, I know, I told you at one point, I was like, dude, I gotta stop spinning because I'm spinning too much junk. Not junk, but you know what I mean. I'm spinning through too much stuff. I gotta slow down. Because even though it's fun to work on the heavier weights, like you spin through them very fast. Spinning, well, again, just by pure yardage of singles, like if you spin, what was this, 150 yards or so, that's only 300 yards of singles. Like that does not take very long at all. Especially when you're me and you're on crack and you're just like, oh, a little bump in there, oh, whatever. So this is a random fiber, which I do not know the origin of. It was white. I dyed it. Now it is pinks and roses and whatnots. Still like it. It must be, if I had to guess, I would say Cordial. I'm not positive. If I had to guess, that's what I would say though. Anyway, again, just a super fast one. Spun it in a day, or actually 2 days, I think. Because, again, you can see it's wildly inconsistent. I really need to work on slowing down. But sometimes it's just so fun, I can't stop. I can't stop. I just gotta go. I need to slow down. Speaking of slowing down, so that was all the finished things. I'll just go ahead and keep going with spinning. Because last week, remember how I was all like, oh my gosh, the loop bat's up there and it's looking at me and it's shaking its stuff at me, and I'm all like, oh. No, I'm not gonna spin that because then I'll just want to buy another one. So I started spinning my loop bat this week. But again, I know that I need to start slowing down, spinning finer and spinning more carefully, and I know that the loop bat will make me do that because it is, you know, expensive. I'm not saying it's expensive for what it is. I think it's worth what it is, but it's still expensive. Again, I'm sure a BMW is worth how much it costs, but it's expensive. So I am totally enjoying it. Let's see, I was like, oh, hello, little pepper lizard, hello. So this is so far, yay, it's so much fun. Loop bat, 6.6 ounces of violets are blue in merino, cordial, nylon, angelina, unicorn tails, and fairy wings. That's what's in there. See, it's a value. But anyway, I'm having so much fun. And I think I am doing better about slowing down. Although I did measure the wraps fringe, and I'm still too thick to get fingering if I 3-ply it. I've already spun this much. I can't. I need to get thinner so I can get I want 8,000 yards out of this. 8,000 yards. It's not going to happen. But that's okay. It's still fun, even though I wish I could spin it a little bit thinner. Right now I'm at 32, 34 wraps per inch, something like that. Which means if I 3-ply it, it'll be like a heavy sport to DK. I'm okay with sport, but really DK, that's too thick. I'll have like 7 yards and I'll be so sad I'll cry. Oh yeah, I need to shut up. It's already 30 minutes in. Sorry. I told you right at the beginning I was a little fluffy. I maybe got some sun damage or something. I think I'm going to just use that excuse every week for the rest of the summer, so there you go. That's my doctor's note. Pshink. Sorry, I realized as soon as I said that, I think I said that last week. So here's my Emily sweater. Okay, I'm totally enjoying it. It is by... that doesn't look right. Elig Berglund. Is that right? That's what I have written. Anyway, so so there is where I was last week. So I knit up this far. and then I separated it off and then knit this much of the front. Now, this sweater was said that it was knit all in one piece. And so in my head, I thought that meant it was knit all in one piece, like all in one piece to here, and then you put on the sleeves. I mean, you knit the sleeves and then you join everything in and then you yoke it up. That's not what it means. Not their fault, just my own fault for just assuming. Oh, I know that saying. I hate that saying. Don't say that to me. You can say it there, but I am not listening here. But so I just had it in my head that that's how it was going to be. That's not how it is. It's knit all in one piece to the armpits, and then so I had a moment where I was like, I'm knitting it in the round instead of. Okay, so this is the thing. I don't mind to knit. I don't love to purl, but I'll do it. It's a necessary thing. But when you're knitting all in one piece, that means my giant circumference, that's too many purls, because the bottom of the sweater is like 301 stitches, which just doesn't sound like that much, but 301 purls is too much. It hurts my hands. Like, purling fatigues me in a way that knitting doesn't, and it gives me that like, so I'm not doing it. So, like, I'll do a pieced sweater that's purled. I mean, I don't really love pieced sweaters, but I'll do it. But all in one piece purl, no thank you very much. So I'm steeking it. So then I had this conundrum when I got to the armpit, like, oh, do. And in fact, somebody who is very cute on Ravelry even wrote me at one point, or put a note in the last episodes, like, oh, really? How are you, or something like, how do you convert the all in one piece sweater to in the round when it gets to the neck shaping? I think is what she was talking. I think that's what she said. And I was like, oh yeah, well, you know, it's just, actually, it's all the same. It's just got some steek in it. Because again, I'm thinking of like a yoke. I'm like, oh yeah, it's all the same. She's probably thinking, oh honey, I'm not pointing this out, but you actually have no idea what you're talking about. Because if I had made this stupid assumption on my own and I was not podcasting, I'd just been like, oh dummy, and move on. But no, now I got to acknowledge it and let you all know that I'm a big dummy. Psh, do not like it, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I can't just pretend that I'm not a dummy who didn't just jump ahead and, again, spun everything too dang fast. Whatever, I have enthusiasm and blinders. So, I had to make this decision when I got to the armhole and I realized that, oh, it's actually down fitting 4 pieces or 3 pieces. So the question was, okay, do I do something wacky and modify it to make it all in one piece and yoke up the sleeves? And I was like, oh, I could do that. And I went, no, because actually it has something interesting in the sleeve. It does have like some short row shaping on the top of the sleeve, and I was kind of interested in that. I thought that might be cool. So that was out. So then the other 2 options are to either steek the armholes, perfectly viable option, or just to knit the front as one piece, leaving the steek in place, and then knit the back in one piece. I guess I could have even like knit the front 2 pieces and just opened, whatever, that would have been, whatever. That was not interesting to me at the time. So the options were either easy, which is like knit it in 2 pieces, or do some figuring, which is knit it with steeked armholes. And quite frankly, at the time, I just wasn't into figuring it out. I'll admit it. I was in the middle of watching some Stargate Universe and was not into figuring it out. So I just split it off. So you can see now, well, I don't know if you can see or not, but this is the front. I'm just knitting the front panel. I bound off for the sleeves and whatnot. So I'll knit the front panel up and then just knit the back panel up and do it like it's supposed to be done, only slightly different. So there you go. And you're like, oh, now you still have to purl, yo. I'm like, I know, yo. But again, it's purling. At this point, it's only purling like, well, even when I get to the back, it's only purling like 100 stitches, which I can do. In fact, it's less than 100 stitches because I still have to bind off for some of the armholes. Sassy pantses. So it's only like 87 purls or something. And I can do 87 purls. I just don't like to do in excess of 120 purls. That's how I roll. But anyway, I am very pleased with how it's working, and I've almost been a monogamous knitter this week. Scandalous, I know. Because I really did have like literally like 16 minutes of knitting on that. Not Aztec shawl. That's not what it's called. That's what it is in my head. The Zuni shawl. So that was really almost I mean, I started another project while sharing a second, but I have like this much done of it. So really, I almost knit exclusively on the sweater, and I'm enjoying it so much. I love that beaver slide dry goods because now it's getting kind of hot. It's going to sound weird, whatever. Welcome to the show. Um, it's getting kind of hot, so the wooliness is smelling woolier, which is so great. It's like a pleasant, it's just a lovely woolly smell. It doesn't smell like woolly BO. It smells like nice, clean wool. It's so pleasant. But it is getting hotter. It's been like 90 degrees for a couple days, or at least 88 to 90. And we're tightwads. We're not turning on our air conditioner yet. I mean, we're very green. We're very environmentally conscious, and we don't want to turn on the air. We're tightwads, and we don't want to turn on the air conditioner yet. I'm all like, no, honey, I think we can make it another week. So, in the midst of like having a total like breakdown because it was so hot and I couldn't have that woolly woolness on me for a minute because it's got a little bit of angora on it and it seems to grab a little bit more on your fingers, like when you get sweaty and hot. It wants to kind of give more drag, which is not like the best feeling in the world. So I cast on something else. I could not knit for 20 minutes. That would be crazy. Really. That would be crazy. So I'm knitting with my beautiful yarn donated by Butterfly Bush in her Fresh Zing colorway. I am knitting. Did I neglect to write this down? Oh, I'm such a jerk. No, I totally didn't neglect to write it down. It's called The Beautiful Cobweb by Ashcroft Hempsel. Now, I don't know what human it's by. That sounds like a design verb, but whatever. Ashcroft Hempsel. And this is it so far. Whoa, look at that stunning progress. Whatever. I actually had more of it. Excuse me. Sorry. I had more of it, but I had to rip it out because I didn't like how her increases were doing. She has to increase. I'm going to try to decide if this is legal to say. Whatever, I can say it. It's not crazy. But she has you actually do the increase, like net front and back on the edge. I kept forgetting to do it. I've done too many shawls where I had to 2 stitches of garter on the edge. So my brain wouldn't make it happen. I kept having crazy varying stitch counts from one side to the other. So I had more, but I had to rip it out because just make an adjustment and do some yarn overs on the edge. Which I'm fine with because it's not like a solid shawl like the Stephen West shawl or something. It has a lacy border at the bottom. So I don't think it's going to look wonky or anything. Okay. So yes, that's that. I think that's all of the business this week. I'm looking at the notes, if you can't tell, and I'm feeling down by sing-songing nonsense-ness. Yes, that's it. I didn't show the socks this week, my husband's crazy socks, although some of you commented on it. Thank you very much for feeling my pain. They're in timeout right now, as you can well understand, yeah, I think that's tell it. Oh, shut your faces. It's right. I'll shut my face. You don't have to shut your faces. Hi. Oh my gosh, I totally did. I did. That was not the bad. Oh my. I did not intentionally just birdwatch you for a second there. That was an accident. I'm glad I noticed it because otherwise I could have just put that in there and not even acknowledged that I didn't do that on purpose and then. Oh. Oh my gosh, what is up? Anywho, I will show you this because now I've been fidgeting with it because I'm not knitting. And I'm flipping off my viewers. Sorry. I was just adjusting my glasses and my other fingers didn't cooperate. They were all lagging behind. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it because it's just making it worse. Anyway, this is the last thing I'm going to talk to you about. I wasn't even going to talk to you about, but now I have it in my hand, so I'm going to talk to you about it. It's from VIPfibers.com. And it is a wraps per inch handy dandy quick visual guide, which I love. I saw it on Becca of the Knit Bites, who, by the way, that's the pattern that I won in her cowl for her Stephen West cowl, was the beautiful cobweb. So I saw this on her podcast, and I wanted one immediately. So it tells you all the way from 40 wraps per inch up to 6 wraps per inch. You can just hold your yarn up against there and make sure you don't see any black, or vice versa. Hold it back there, make sure you don't see any of your yarn. It's very handy. because reps per inch kind of tweaks me out, and I just feel like it's not very precise, and I get all wackety-woo-dah. And then somebody's going to tell me this is not very precise. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me this is not very precise. I mean, you can tell me. You can tell me. It's better to be informed. Whatever. I'm still going with this. I feel like it's much easier for me than the reps per inch. And now I'll stop talking because I'm at 40 minutes and I have literally said nothing. I'm sorry. I hope you have a lovely week. The Gratitude Cal is running through June 3rd. Please leave an iTunes review. That is all. Have a lovely week. I'll see you next week. Oh, I might be a day late next week because it is Memorial Day weekend when I normally record, and we are going camping, and it is projected to be 99 degrees all weekend. So I might be swooning Monday night. I don't know if I don't have the strength to record. So if I don't fret. I will be there the next day.